Hey guys. Stuff ready here. Me and you. I'm waiting. Turn down the tunes. Hey guys, this is probably one of the most fun trainings that we're going to have because this allows your creativity to really go everywhere. Okay, so housekeeping again, before we jump into this, obviously today I'm going to be talking a lot about this book and what Russell has done with this book, how he created it, why he created it, all those things. I'm going to show, I've got several books sitting here that I want to show you, but I want you to get your copy too. Inside the membership access area, click on the link and go get it, $7.95. You're giving Russell the $7.95. Go get it, it's free plus shipping. So $7.95 shipping, go get that one, go get the .com. They're both fantastic. This is how to reverse engineer a proven sales process, and that's exactly what we want to be able to do. Now today we're going to talk about how to create tons of products and really create it insanely fast with things you're basically already doing. Okay, so that's this one, how he built his empire, right? And we're going to get into a secret in here that he's given away, and I'm going to share that secret with you because he shared it with me. Okay, so get those books. If you're not in the Facebook group, join it. The people that are in there, we're getting great feedback, having awesome conversations. So everything has been doing really well thus far. If you have any questions thus far of any of the trainings, let me know real quick and we'll jump into your question. Other than that, let's get going. You ready? Hashtag ready. Go ahead and comment below. If you'll comment below, hashtag ready. Let's do this. How's that? Just looking to see who's on. Hey guys. Glad to have you. Hashtag ready. Excellent. Here we go. And I'm going to pan in and out, showing my screen, then I'll come back to me, show my screen, but just so I can look at the questions from you guys. And I want to make sure that I'm keeping tabs on that. If you do have a question as we go through this process, please, please, please ask, okay? Let's do this. And today, well, hold on. Today, I'm kind of taking a detour. So I said, hey, let's do comprehensive product creation. And I don't quite want to do that. I want to show you all the products you can create and then kind of putting these things together, because that's going to be a different topic. So I want to show you, hey, here's how to create a whole bunch of things insanely fast. And then we'll jump into that talk. So that's going to be the next talk. So the next scheduled one is we're taking a couple days off so you guys can take a breath. And so the next one after this morning is on Monday night. And so we'll do comprehensive product creation that night. Okay. How's that? Let's get rolling with the class today. And here we go. So we're going to talk 21 unique ideas for content production mastermind. So some of these things I shared at the boot camp on how to create some things. And we're really going to have a spinoff on those ideas. Okay. So I shared 2 today. We're going to share 19 more. They're all very similar. They are different. And since they're so similar, it makes it very, very easy for anybody and everybody to do this. Okay. And so I want to go through that with you and show you each of those, but we need to back up and go through a couple of things before we jump into those 21 ideas. Okay. Now, this is a concept of that Russell says people will spend more money for the exact same product packaged in a different way. Okay. People will spend more money for the exact same product packaged in a different way. Okay. And so I can give you a story. So Fred talks about in the boot camps, he talks about Think and Grow Rich. And so one of the first boot camps, he says, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, and he quotes it. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I got to get that book, right? You go to Barnes & Noble, you get the book, you pay $10, you set it on your nightstand. And so you set it on your nightstand, you say, I'm going to read this tonight. And you wake up the next day, I missed it. So I'll read it tonight. And then another day goes by and another day and a week goes by. And now it's a month has gone by and you still haven't read Think and Grow Rich. And now you're back at the boot camp and he's doing boot camp 2. And he's saying, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. And he's quoting this book and you think, oh gosh, I got that book. I need to go home and read it. Right? And what happens? You don't read it and months go by and it's been a year. And you think, I'm not going to ever read that book. Right? Maybe there's an audio book for Think and Grow Rich, right? So you jump online and you get Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, the audio version. And you buy this audio version and it's $100. And so now you plug it in, it's on your phone, you're listening to it as you're driving around town, whatever, and you get to read Think and Grow Rich, right? Now, are these any different? They're both Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, right? The words are the same. Now, one is written and one is audio, but they're the same thing. Now, what's interesting is the book, Think and Grow Rich, versus the audio file, Think and Grow Rich, they were different prices. So you pay $10 for the book, you pay $100 for the audio file, right? So if we go back, people will spend more money for the exact same product packaged in a different way. So this is packaged in a different way. One is a tangible book and one is an audio file on your phone now. But people will literally pay more for things packaged in a different way. And the way someone consumes something will change the value of what it is. So how you consume it. So if you only read books, there's a certain level of value. If you listen to audio files, there's a certain level of value. No, I only go to live events. There's a certain level of value. That's how you're consuming something. If you go to a live event, you're consuming something. So how someone consumes something will change the value of what that thing is, right? But they're all really the same thing. So the book, and then you take send it to an audio company, and they'll transcribe or do a voiceover for you, right? They're the same thing. It's packaged in a different way, so the value goes up. So the book was $10. Then you have the audio version, and it's $100. And maybe there's a video training on each of the chapters. and maybe that's $300, but you want to go to the live event that talks about Think and Grow Rich, and maybe that was a few $100s to $1,000. And you say, you know what, I really want to dive deep into this book and how it can affect me and how I can apply it to myself and my life personally and professionally. Now you're in a group coaching program, and maybe you're paying a few $1,000s for it. And maybe you want to get with the author themselves, and you just want that one-on-one coaching about Think and Grow Rich. They're all the same things, but the way you consume it will change the value. So if you need one-on-one, somebody to walk you through, handhold you, that's the one-on-one coaching. Or you needed the group coaching, which really that's what this training is. It's a group coaching, right? You're getting a bit of one-on-one, but it's group coaching. But how you consume it is going to change the value of it. So there can be a book, there can be an audio, video, event, group coaching, private mastermind. They're all the same things. But how that person consumed it, how your avatar consumes it, maybe they all want group coaching. Maybe they all want an event, right? You do events in your office. If you do advanced workshops, the Heart Smart, the Cancer Killer, those are events, right? And see how much higher up the value ladder the event is versus the book. The book is the front end offer. Then you have the audio, video, then you have the event. You're already doing events if you have the advanced workshop. How cool is that? So they're ascending your value ladder. So the front end thing was the book, and maybe it was about ketosis. And then you have the video training on ketosis, and then they come to your office and learn from you. That group coaching, that live event, the group coaching, and you're teaching about ketosis. They're ascending your value ladder. And as they ascend your value ladder, what happens to price? It goes up, ding, ding, ding. How cool is that? So this is very simple. Once you wrap your head around this idea, it's a super simple idea. And then you just start churning out content like crazy. And really, it's little to no more work for you. And so what we did at the boot camp was show you product versus offer. And I'll go through it again just so you remember it. And I said, all right, so most everybody has a cell phone, whether it's the iPhone or the Android, either way, your preference. And most everybody has a cell phone. And when everybody has this and everybody's selling these, that makes this thing a what? A commodity. And when there's a commodity, what happens to price? There's a race to the bottom on people that are willing to say, hey, I want to cut my margin. And so Dan Kennedy says there's no strategic advantage to be the second lowest price in town. There's huge strategic advantage to being the most expensive. And I don't want to be the cheapest. I don't want to be the second cheapest. I'd far rather be the most expensive. And when you can take a product, a phone, and create an offer. And so what I said at the boot camp is, hey, how much is an iPhone? And somebody says $1,000, I believe. And so let's say all iPhones are the same. It's the biggest, baddest iPhone, Android, just call it whatever you want. And it's the biggest, baddest, and they're all the same. There's no difference in memory or anything. They're all identical. And they're all $1,000. So at that point, what are all the companies that are selling iPhones going to start trying to do? Lower their price. So if everybody's selling it for $1,000 and somebody says, hey, I'll sell for $900 today. What's going to happen? Everybody's going to run to their store because there's competition on price. And instead of doing that, instead of being that person to just gut yourself, I would rather make an offer out of this and sell it for double. And so at the boot camp, I said, all right, I'm going to sell this phone to you for $2,000 and you'll want it. Want to watch? And everybody's just kind of looking at me and saying, I don't know. Can you? And I said, all right, so I have the iPhone, and yes, everybody's selling it for $1,000. And so I have my iPhone here, and it's just like everybody else's, but frankly, it's used. But I'm going to go ahead and sell it to you, not for $1,000, but $2,000. Here's the cool thing is I've ripped all my stuff off of it, so I've reformatted the phone, and I actually went back and added a couple of things. So if you're a corrective care doc, a CBP guy, there are a couple of books from the Harrisons, right? And so they wrote these rehab books. And so what I did was I actually took those books and made it a digital format, and I actually put them onto this cell phone. So they're already there. And I even added an app that you can quickly search those books. So if you want to read a certain chapter of a certain book, you can flip through that app really, really quickly. And not only that, there's been several research papers written by the CBP family, and there's also a membership area. I've given you a private link in here. You go inside the membership area, and you have access to every one of those published research articles. And there's also a quick search engine that you can quickly find the article that you're looking for. So I've already put all that stuff on there. Also, if you've ever been to Eagle, Idaho, there's this big facility there where doctors come from all around the world and come train. And they do these trainings, and they're really, really long. They last an entire week. And the guy that's leading the way, Deed Harrison, actually videotapes them. And he's videotaped every week-long training that he's ever done, even the short trainings, the long trainings. He's recorded all of them. And what I've done is I've gone to Deed and said, hey, can I have those videos? And he's literally given me every one of those videos. So I went ahead and put all the videos on here inside of another membership area with a quick search engine, so you can watch any and all of the week-long trainings. Everything that he's done is already on here. Something else that I've done is I've installed an app. It's called Voxer. And Voxer is kind of like a walkie-talkie. And with this walkie-talkie, you can quickly communicate with people. So you don't have to necessarily be on the phone, but you can send them a quick message if you want without having to type a text or anything like that. And I've even preloaded some contact info in that app for the leaders in CBP. So you got Deed Harrison's contact information, so you can have access directly to him. Just go into that app, quickly ask your question, he'll respond to you. And not only him, but Jason Miller and Yeager and all those guys. I've also included all of their contact information on here. So you're going to get the books. So you can flip through there and find what you need. And you're going to get the research articles, so you can flip through there and get what you need. And you can get all the video trainings from all the week-longs, so you can go to the topic that you're looking for and get what you need. And if you really need to reach out, you're able to reach out to the leaders in CBP. Want my phone? It feels different, right? Because I'm no longer competing on price. My phone is not the same as everybody else's. I've put stuff on here that my target market, my avatar, wants, right? So my target market, my avatar was a CBP doc. So if it's a CBP doc, what did I do? Hey, I've got exactly what you want right here. That's an offer. So at this point, chiropractic is a commodity. In the eyes of the public, not in your eye, in the eyes of the public, chiropractors are all the same, right? That's our fault. Let's just take responsibility for it as a chiropractic community, right? As a whole, that's our fault because we didn't educate them. We're different. All of us are different. We all do different things, fine. But at that point, since we are all the same in the public's eye, we're all a product or commodity. It's a race to the bottom. I don't want to do that. I want to make an offer. I'd rather just double my prices, right? Wouldn't that be great to double your prices? If you think it'd be great to double your prices, hit hashtag yes. Hashtag yes. And when you've got a good hook, which we talked about in the previous training, when you got a good hook, you'll have a better offer. When you have a good hook, you'll have a better offer. You got to have that hook. That hook it's imperative that you have a great hook, especially when you're creating an ad, which we'll get to that. But you got to have the hook. So let's go through some hooks. And so here's Drew Manning. And Drew Manning is a personal trainer. And Drew Manning says, well, you know, I've got to get something really, really compelling. I got to get people to turn around, look at me, come toward me. I got to be the attractive character. I got to get people to me. And I got to create some story because I don't quite have a story. I don't have a hook. What is my thing? And so here's what he did. Drew Manning, really, really fit guy. He says, I am fit, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to gain a ton of weight. And when he did that, everybody starts paying attention. Oh my gosh, why is this personal trainer gaining all this weight? And people are reaching out, wanting interviews. He's even on the Jay Leno show. And so he gains all this weight, and then he loses all the weight. And he says, I want to know what it feels like to be that person that's overweight and to also go through the process of losing weight. And I want to know what that feels like, right? And so when he's done, now he has an incredible hook. He's fit to fat to fit. Right? That's his hook. That's an incredible, incredible hook because you're really asking the question, gosh, why would you do that? Right? And at that point, now he's got you. And that's what we've got to be able to create is that hook that is so insanely powerful that people are going to say, whoa, wait a minute. I need to listen. I need to pay attention. And they're immediately gravitating toward you. Okay. Another one is Natalie Hodson. Now, Natalie Hodson doing some fitness videos, and she's a mom blogger and does all these things. Well, she's actually doing training videos. And while she's making a training video, well, she's had kids, and when you have kids, then things downstairs can have a problem. And what she does is she's had some kids, she's making training videos, and while she's making the training videos, she wets her pants. Now, Natalie was so smart in this moment. She was so conscious. She says this, take pictures of me. And so she's standing front, you see her hands up, and then she's turned around showing you, and you can see her face, she's smiling. She's doing something right here that she's creating a hook, right? So I wet my pants on video, on a training video, and I didn't delete it. And I want to share it with you, right? So and I don't know exactly the verbiage of her hook, but that's what she did. And when she did that, she's thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to share this. And she knows a great friend of hers is a doctor. And she says, well, I've got this problem. I was making these fitness training videos, but I wet my pants. So doctor, come in, let's work together. And so they were working on pelvic floor exercises to help her out. And she created a product. And when she created that product, immediately her hook, her story sold the product. So she makes over $1 million in about 3 months. I think that product was like $37. So how many people flocked to her when she was willing to share this type of story, this type of hook, right? That's insane. That's amazing. This is the type of thing we've got to figure out. So finding the hook isn't necessarily the easiest, right? Because Drew Manning says, hey, I've got to go through a long process. I got to gain all the weight and then I got to lose all the weight. That's a process to create the hook. So you may not be able to come up with it necessarily overnight, right? But we got to tweak it and refine it and those kinds of things. Natalie, just by happenstance, wets her pants, says, hey, that's my hook. She may not be saying it in the moment, but she knew the moment was important enough that she needed to take pictures, and ultimately becomes her hook. And now she speaks on stages to thousands of people, right? She's got a following on Facebook, I think, of, I don't know, 500,000 people. How cool is that? Would you like 500,000 people? Now, doesn't mean you have to wet your pants, but we've got to have that hook. We've got to have that story. So what is it about you that you or your story that say, hey, this is the hook. This is what I'm going to use to get people, to get them in, to get their attention, right? Here's Russell. And so he has his hook right here, my weird niche funnel. So he's actually, years ago, he was selling supplements online. He was selling nerve pain supplements, I think it was. And he says, I don't know anything about nerve pain, but I like to sell things online and I like to make money. And so he starts selling all these things and starts making an insane amount of money. And he says, my weird niche funnel that's currently making me $17,947 per day, and how to ethically knock it off in less than 10 minutes. You say, what? You're making 17 grand a day? How to knock it off in 10 minutes? What? And so that's a great hook, right? And he's even using ethically knock it off. I love the word ethically. So I actually use that as well. My weird niche funnel, it's making 17 grand a day. Would you like to know how he did that? That's what he's getting you to do. He's getting you to click, right? That's beautiful. That right there is a hook. He also has a Mormon podcast. So if you know Russell Brunson, he's a Mormon, and he wanted to be able to share about being a Mormon on a podcast. And he says, I need a hook. What can I do? And so he's trying to go through all this stuff, and he's trying to figure this out. And he says, well, there's these Mormon books, and he says there's original ones printed or something, like 5,000 original, whatever, 5,000 original books. And if you're going to buy one at this point, he says one of those original books is, I can't remember the numbers, like $10,000, $100,000, something insane. And he says, I actually found one on eBay, an original. And he says, I didn't quite pay $10,000, but he paid thousands of dollars for it. I think he paid like $5,000 or $8,000, something. And so his hook is why I spent $8,000 on this however many year old book, right? So that becomes a hook. So he did something to create a hook to get you to say, hey, wait, what? Why would you spend $8 grand on a book that's a couple hundred years old? Why would you do that, right? So that becomes a hook. And now he can take you through the process of leading you to his podcast. Are you guys getting this? Isn't this great in terms of a hook? Once you have that compelling hook, now people are looking at you, and now you can share exactly what you want to share with them, right? And so I have written here the written word. So there are really 3 phases of these products. There's the written word, there's the audio word, and the visual word, okay? And so I'm gonna go through these, and the written word is gonna be the lower tiered. So we're gonna go from the bottom rung of the ladder, and then we're just gonna ascend up in terms of these ideas. And so we're gonna go through that one by one. Before we do that, I wanna make sure, do we have any questions of what I've gone through thus far? If you have a question, let me know. I don't see any right now. Perfect. Okay. I know you guys are ready. I know we've already been on the call for some time. Let's do this. Okay, the very first thing, you've probably thought of this yourself. Oh, and it is, 21 unique ideas for content production mastermind. Yes. Write a book, right? Writing a book is one of the most beautiful things you could possibly do, because now there's an immense amount of credibility with you. Hold on just a second, guys. Guys, can you hear me? I think I'm having a problem over here. If you can hear me, say hashtag hear ya. Hashtag hear ya. I need to make sure you're, because it's telling me you can't hear me. Yeah. Hashtag hear ya. Can anybody hear me? If you can hear me, hit hashtag hear ya. Who do we have on? Hashtag hear ya. Okay. Man, I'm so sorry. Spending all that time. Thank you for that. Whew. Just trying to get into the good stuff, and my computer wants to act up. Okay, so let's get back into this. Let's run through these as quickly as possible. Number one, write a book. Yes, it builds your credibility, and you can make this a front-end offer. This is a beautiful thing to have. The problem is, this is probably one of the hardest things you could possibly do, is write a book, right? And Russell even says, hey, writing a book, this book right here that he wrote, he says, it took 10 years of my life to gain all this experience to be able to write the book, and then it took a year just to write the thing. And then it took another year to write this one, right? So that sounds awful. And there's even somebody in the group that said, hey, yeah, I wrote a book. It took me 3.5 years. It's great that they have a book. I hate that it took so long. That's awful. Now, we've already put out content. So if you have made videos, Facebook Lives, if you've done anything and you have a camera, a video recorder, audio recorder in front of you, you can make a book, right? So Russell even has this book right here, 108 proven split test winners. And so what they're doing is testing ads, and they're split testing them. And here are, he said, hey, I'm going to go back through all the split tests that we've done, and I'm going to find 108 of them. And so we just took snapshots, put them all together, boom, he's got a book. So whatever the things you've already put out, then you can take those things, put them all together, now you have a book. So that's actually how he created this. Now this book is worth a ton. And he even said, once he created it, he said, yeah, I'm going to sell this thing for $1,000. No, I'm going to give it away when people opt into whatever service, right? And so that's how I got my hands on this. And it is incredible, but that's how he wrote that book, was he just compiled all that stuff, put it together, okay? Number two, hire a ghostwriter. Hiring a ghostwriter can be fantastic. Writing a book can be a beautiful thing. It can be an awful thing because it takes too much freaking time. Product number 2, hiring a ghostwriter can be a beautiful thing. So say you want to write a book on ketosis. And so what you do is do an ask campaign. Go to your Facebook, go to your following, send out emails, and you do an ask campaign. Hey, what's your number 1 question when it comes to ketosis? And so you're going to get back a flood of all these questions, and you're going to get honed down to 10, 15 different questions that are probably the most relevant or best questions. And so what you do, you send that to somebody that's a ghostwriter and say, hey, I want you to research all these questions. Research all these questions and then write a chapter on all these questions. And so what they'll do is they'll research everything about that question. And then they're going to write a chapter about that question. And they're going to send it right back to you. Boom, you have a book. Isn't that cool? And what are you doing? You're fulfilling exactly what your audience wanted. You're answering their questions. Think, oh my gosh, this book is exactly for me, right? And you can find these guys. You can find them everywhere. There are ghostwriters. You can spend thousands of dollars on this. You can go to freelance websites. There's freelancer.com. There's upwork.com. There's, I use fiverr.com. It's really, really good. So people, and the reason they named it Fiverr, it's F-I-V as in violin, E-R-R.com, is because when they started the website, it was people basically doing almost anything for $5. Isn't that funny? But you can go to fiverr.com, and I've paid people to do all kinds of things for me, and you can find it. You can find them to do it. It's amazing. So if you don't want to spend thousands of dollars, go to fiverr.com, have somebody ghostwrite you a book. They'll do all the research. They'll write all the chapters. You proofread it. Boom, there's your book. There's even proofreaders on Fiverr. So if you want somebody else to proofread it, you don't have to do a thing, right? PLR license. This is what we talked about at the boot camp. You can PLR something, so private label rights, and you can literally find products on anything. I have PLR'd all kinds of things, just seeing if I could find it. And it's incredible the things you can find. Now, some things are really, really bad, and some things are really, really good. And sometimes there's stipulations with the person that put out that content. There's people literally just creating content, putting it out there and selling it. You slap your name on it, your picture, whatever, and you're able to sell it, give it away, whatever the case may be. But you can find these things for whatever you want to use them for. So whatever purpose you're looking for, hey, I want to send out these articles, these newsletters, this, that. So you can do that specifically through PLR. If you want training videos or whatever. So PLR, anything. So nutrition, weight loss, exercise, keto, paleo, primal, whatever, right? So hopefully this gets your mind running. Or you could license things. So people have already created products, and you can license it from them. So when I take PLR, it's me taking it on, and I'm going to slap my name on it, right? License, they're selling some kind of membership or training, and say, hey, I love your membership, I love your training. Can I license that from you? I'll pay you $1,000 or $500, and the deal's always going to be different. And they say, yeah, sure, fine. And so you take it, and you tell, hey, you sell it over there like you want, and I'll sell it the way I want, and we're all happy. That's licensing the product. So you're both selling it simultaneously, but you get to slap your name, your brand, your logo on it and do what you want with it. You say, well, how are you going to find those products? Go to clickbank.com, clickbank.com, and there's going to be several pages of, specifically for health and fitness. There's several pages. So if they're in the top 10 pages, they're probably killing it on ClickBank, making tons of money. And they may not be as cheap if you want to license those things, but scroll back 15, 20 pages through that health and fitness section. And maybe they got some amazing training, some cool modules that you want to be able to share with your people and say, oh my gosh, I love this. And can I license this from you? And they, yeah, sure. I'm only selling 1 or 2 a week or whatever. And they may say, you know what? I'm not even selling that thing anymore. Here, you can have it. Right? So I didn't have to create any kind of training. It was already done. How cool is that? Product number 4, a compilation, which is really kind of like this. This is a compilation of all Russell's stuff. You can compile from others. So Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, did they write Chicken Soup for the Soul? No, they didn't. They wrote the foreword and had everybody else write it for them. This is probably the best version of a compilation type of book that's out there. They made insane amounts of money. So what they did is, hey, write an awesome story. And they got it all back, put them all together, boom, you have a book. So what you could do is, to all your patients, hey, write your chiropractic story, not a testimonial, your story. Tell me your story. And so they'll all write it. And so you have 10, 20, 50, 100 people write this, put it all together, have them sign a little waiver. Hey, I'm putting this out there. I got a book. You didn't do anything. That's amazing. That's exactly what they did. And they made millions of dollars. And you can put that kind of content out there too. And you could do this for exercise, nutrition, whatever you want. I mean, there's chicken soup for the teenager soul, the chiropractic soul, the parent soul, right? All those kinds of, they got tons and tons of books. So they've sold a lot. So this idea is fantastic. Idea collection. Have you ever had an idea and it was an amazing idea and you didn't do anything with it? Yeah, sure. We all have. We've all had amazing ideas, sheer brilliance, and we didn't do anything with it. Well, this guy, Mike right here, he's actually a friend of Russell. And he said, you know, I always come out with really, really great ideas and people always tell me I have awesome ideas and I could describe the idea. I just don't want to do it. And so what he did was he started writing down his ideas. He'd write down his ideas and he comes up with 378 ideas. And from those 378, he basically writes a paragraph describing each idea and how to implement. Then he goes to the next idea. Here's the idea. Here's what it is. Here's how to implement. And so he put all that together, made it a book, and literally made tens of thousands. I think he crossed six figures selling that book. He's just selling ideas. Isn't that amazing? So you can just sell ideas. Hey, you could do this, you could do that, and just write a paragraph about those things. And then make a book. Are you guys getting this? Is this making sense? This is incredible. Oh, you can have a newsletter. Let me do this. So say you did write a book, say you had that book written, maybe you PLR'd it, you ghost wrote it, you wrote it yourself. Maybe you took some of that content out and made newsletters. So every month I get from Russell these newsletters, all these newsletters, and then I read them, right? So he has somebody in his office write them, or they're parts of his book, or explainer videos, and all he does is take that, transcribe it, sends it over to rev.com, transcribes it, boom, he's got the transcription. He has somebody, a mock-up, so he has a creative department. Hey, somebody does that, and he's got a newsletter, boom, just like that. You could do the same thing. It doesn't have to be a book, but maybe it's a sheet, and then you're emailing out. So if you have chapters of your book and you have little sections that are really, really great content, then have an outline of maybe a sheet of paper, and it has your design. And every time you're just you're putting in your transcription. You're just dropping that in, and the frame, the creative all look the same, and you send that out to your people. So you're just adding value, right? You could do it that way, or say, hey, here's my 38 best newsletters. Get them for free with an opt-in, right? Give me your email. You could do that. But a newsletter, yeah, he sent me this. He says, hey, keep those things, right? So, and that gets you excited. I think, oh yeah, I want to read the next newsletter, right? It's amazing. Well, let's go here. Let's go back to my screen. So that's the newsletter. Re-niche content, which I've kind of hit on just a couple seconds ago. You could take Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich, and we're going to hit on public domain here in a minute. But you can take Think and Grow Rich and make it Think and Grow Rich for the chiropractic lifestyle, Think and Grow Rich for the nutritionist life, Think and Grow Rich for paleo eating, right? And then you can have your content in your commentary. So that book, I'm already jumping in the public domain, is in the public domain. Therefore, you can say, hey, here's his chapter, here's my commentary, here's Think and Grow Rich with 16 extra pages. And it's for the chiropractic lifestyle. But you re-niche it specifically, hey, here's for the chiropractic lifestyle, here's for the exercise lifestyle, here's for the nutritious lifestyle, right? Here's Think and Grow Rich for real estate investors. Here's Think and Grow Rich for financial planners. Here's Think and Grow Rich for the entrepreneur. Here's Think and Grow Rich for your avatar. So maybe it's the entrepreneur. Here's Think and Grow Rich for the small business owner. Here's Think and Grow Rich for a shift in mindset, whatever. So you can re-niche it. Take that same content and just put the different tagline on it. Boom, you've got a different audience, right? So in the public domain, which I shared about the public domain at the bootcamp, the public domain refers to any anything that is not protected under U.S. copyright law. This includes all works prior to 1923 and, under certain conditions, works published up to 1978. A work can be anything: a book, movies, plays, songs, photographs, instruction manuals, posters, courses, reports, etc. Is that not insane? Everything prior to 1923 is in the public domain. And if it hasn't been copyrighted between 1923 and 1978, and it's estimated 92, 93, 94% of all things have not been properly copyrighted, hey, it's in the public domain, it's for your use. You can use it. Now you can find out, there are attorneys in Washington, D.C., right across the street from the Copyright Office, and they can find out, hey, tell me if this is in the public domain or not, right? Super easy, but if it's in the public domain, you can use it. So what can you do? Well, so here's Farmer Burns School of Wrestling. And so this guy named Matt, he says, hey, I'm looking at all these old things, this old material, and I thought this was really, really cool, Farmer Burns School of Wrestling. He takes this book, and since it's in the public domain, just tears out all the sheets, scans those things, writes a foreword. Now he has Farmer Burns School of Wrestling with a foreword by Matt. Done. And now he's got a book, right? All he did was write a foreword to it, and he's got Farmer Burns School of Wrestling with a foreword by him, and how it can apply to you in the new age, how this is and why this is still relevant 100 years later, right? Boom. There's a hook. There's a product. You got it. And so Russell actually finds out about this, and so Russell says, we're getting into the spoken word now. All that is written. Now we're jumping into the spoken word. He says, I want to do that. I want to know if Farmer Burns says anything else. That's a really, really cool book. So he finds the life works of Farmer Burns. He says, oh my gosh, he's got other stuff. I want to make this, but I don't want to write it. I want to make an audio book out of this. So he says to his father-in-law, who had a really, really great voice, he says, hey, will you read this? And for the next 3 days, his father-in-law reads life work of Farmer Burns. Boom, he's got an audio book. And he did no work. All he did was find it, hand it to his father-in-law. He's got an audio book. Is that easy or easy? It's almost too easy, right? The next thing you can do is interview people. So again, we've got Drew again. You can interview them. So if we're talking the spoken word, get in front of somebody, grab your phone, go to the voice button and hit record. Record the conversation. You can interview somebody, right? At that point, now you have an interview, and that can be an audiobook, right? So if you're giving your offer, you're going to get this, and you're going to get this. Oh, by the way, I interviewed this expert in this field on ketosis. And you're going to get that training when you get this package. Boom, right? It's just adding value to your offer. So you're bundling all these things together, and you're just adding value to the offer. So you take that interview, put it on an audio file, and now you're bundling it with your offer. And this is incredible. This is an incredible thing to do. And it wasn't even you. You're interviewing the guru, right? It's all them. You say, hey, can I have that? Can I interview you? And they'll say, sure, yeah, I'll do that. Interview them. You have another product. So here's the thing. You should always have this and it on the camera, the audio file. You should always be recording yourself and other people. Always, always, always. There was a reason why we were carrying around phones and cameras at the boot camp. We're always recording each other, my wife and I. So another thing is compile a best of or hard to find podcast. So you can make interviews with people. You can go out there and find all the greatest podcasts for your avatar, right? So you can say, hey, I've been listening to podcasts for 10, 15 years. I listen to them every day. I listen to them in the car on the way to work, on the way home, and it's all mindset, motivation, perspective, entrepreneur, small business, whatever. And of all the thousands of podcasts I've listened to, I have on this little flash drive, I have the top 32 that I found, and I'm going to include it in my offer. You're going to get those as well. So not only are you going to get this and this and this and this and this, you're going to get the 32 best or hard to find podcasts that talk about the entrepreneur lifestyle, right? They're out there. They're free. You can go find them, but I've already got them right here, right? Now, if it's in the public domain, if it's public, like on YouTube or iTunes or those kinds of things, those things are free for the taking, right? And we're going to talk about YouTube here in a little bit. But you can have those things. They're public. Now, if it's private, somebody's made something private, like on YouTube or a podcast or in a membership area, don't do that. That's stealing. But if it's public, you can take those things. So you can take the Hard to Find podcast and put those together and just include it in your offer. Somebody raising their hand. Sorry. Nope. So you include that in your offer, which is phenomenal. You can do a telesummit series. So not only are you, and you're really going to be the hero at this point. So that's why I put a little picture of the little hero right there, my son. Instead of interviewing one person, just get a whole bunch of people. I'm going to interview this person, and then this person, and then this person. And here's what you want to do. You want to find the hook first, and then interview several people that can deliver on that hook, and boom, you've got another product. But find the hook first, and then the people that can deliver. Most people want to find the guru and just start asking questions, and that's not necessarily it. Find the hook, and then find the guru that can fulfill on that hook, okay? So the hook matters more than the guru. I promise, the hook matters more than the guru. So before Russell made $1 million, he's sitting around with, he's got his other friends, and they all want to make $1 million too. So he goes to them one at a time and takes an audio file or audio recorder and says, hey, tell me this year we're going to make $1 million. Tell me your blueprint for how you're going to make $1 million in the next year. And so that person tells them their blueprint. And then he goes to the next person and interviews them, right? And so he has the audio file from that person. And then he gets to the next person and then the next. And so now there's like 7 or 8 of them that all gave their blueprint on how they're going to make $1 million in the next year. And so he makes a website. And this was just another added thing, another added piece to his offer. He says, we're also going to show you how to make $1 million this year with your online business. That's $2,739.73 a day. And so he makes a website. And he says, hey, I'm going to share with you all these people and their blueprint on exactly how to make $1 million this year. Now, have they even done it yet? They haven't even done it yet. But they had given their blueprint. Russell recorded it, had the audio file, puts them all together, includes it with his offer, and he makes tens of thousands of dollars doing it. It's incredible, right? So he made a website, did a flash sale, and just killed it. You do a mastermind, so you'd have all the people together, put everybody together, and put the phone in the middle of the room. All right, how are you going to make $1 million this year? Or whatever the thing is. And I'm using a business perspective because we all get it. And so we're all talking, and this person's sitting there. And then since we're all together, now we have a round table. Well, this person's going to give their blueprint, and now everybody's going to start one-upping each other, talking about it. Well, now I have 13 different methods on how to make $1 million this year, right? Here's my mastermind round table that I recorded from all these people. Done. And so you're going to all these seminars with all these people. Pull out your phone and start recording these conversations. So you're going to the professional events, you're going to CVP events, you're going to boot camps, right? In between the boot camp, you're sitting with somebody for dinner, whatever, or you're sitting in the lobby, just start recording the conversation. Hey, what's your action step for the next 30 days, right? What are you going to do? And, or have a few of you. And so there's your mastermind roundtable. And now we get into the visual word. So not only can we write it or hear it, now we can see it. And so Russell was at an event, and he was standing in the back, and a couple people were talking and said, hey, we just got a really great hook, and we're going to go up. We were rented a hotel room, a big hotel room for the next 3 hours. We're going to go up there. We're going to take a video, and we're going to video everybody. And we're going to ask the exact same question. If you had to make $30,000 in the next 30 days with no email list, no affiliates, no product, no nothing, how are you going to make $30,000 in the next 30 days? And so what they did, there's like 12 people in there. And so they put the video on each person. How are you going to make $30,000 in the next 30 days? How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? So kind of the same concept, but video. And so they took that video and then said, hey, we're going to give this away. Free DVD reveals the exact blueprint to generate as much as $30,000 in the next 30 days with no list, no affiliates, and no product. There's their hook. Here's your chance to be a fly on the wall of 13. I said 12, I think. As 13 of the sharpest marketing minds map out a mastermind plan that you can use to generate as much as $30,000 in the next 30 days. They haven't even done it yet, but they just put a video in front of everybody talking about how they're going to do it. and their goal and what action steps they would take. And it just became another lead generation tool. So, hey, here's a free DVD, here's a free download, here's a free whatever, and that's a lead generator. But you got to have the hook first. You see how important the hook is? The hook is incredibly important. If you don't have the hook, I mean, it's really, really hard to get that product into that person's hands without the hook. Camtasia, ScreenFlow. So if you're even doing something on your computer, right? You can teach people how to do things on your computer. Hey, I'm going to teach students how to draw on x-rays. This is the right way. Or here's how to analyze these things. Here's the right way. Now you're selling to whomever, right? I'm just giving an example. Or for me, I have ClickFunnels, which is from Russell, and I could go through there and say, hey, here's how to do all these pages, all these sales funnels for chiropractors. And so what am I doing with Camtasia, ScreenFlow? One is for PCs, one is for Mac. And what I can do is just record my screen on how to make these products or how to use the software, and now I have a product, right? So I can teach how to with my screen. So there's video, so I can create that video. So we talked about the podcast. You can create a how to best of hard to find videos on YouTube. So say you're in real estate and you want to go to the real estate people. So people that have had big money in real estate, Trump, or Robert Kiyosaki or whatever. So they have all this, Tai Lopez, I believe, somebody, whoever's your person. And you say, hey, I want to go to YouTube and make sure it's public. And it'll say public. If it's unlisted, you can't use it. They'll come after you. But if it's public, you can see it, which you shouldn't be able to find unlisted anyway. But if it's public, you can use it. So go through all the thousands of videos. And the crazy thing is there are training videos on YouTube from real estate people and marketing people and you name it. And they're hours long. It's great content. It's free. You go grab those things, put them together. So if it's health and wellness, hey, this person's talking about this and this person's talking about this. I've got 117 different videos for how to apply a step-by-step process for getting a more nutritious lifestyle. And they're all from YouTube. You just took them from YouTube, took the link, put them inside your membership area, and they have access. Done. Isn't that incredible? But it's free for the taking. Same thing for the real estate. Hey, here's the 4 best real estate videos that are on YouTube. And they're hard to find. I've already found them for you. I've put them on this thumb drive. Here you go. Right? So you include that in your offer. So if you're doing dinner with the doc, what do? Hey, you're going to get this and you're going to get this. And oh, by the way, I've got this thumb drive and it's got this and this and this and this and this and this. Here you go. That's what makes you different, right? Because the offer you're already giving, consult, exam, x-rays, report, that ain't any different than the other guy in your market's perspective. Yours is different, yes, in your market's perspective, because I don't care about your opinion, I care about theirs, right? So in their perspective, we're all the same, and we're all given those 4 essentials. You got to add to that. Now mine's totally different, and price is out the window because I gave them this thing that the value goes through the roof, right? Jason Fladlin, who teaches webinars, did something really, really incredible. He says, for all the things, I want to create this insane hook and I want videos of this. So he goes and gets some YouTube videos of one of the best online e-commerce guys out there. His name's Trey Llewellyn. And he says, I got all these videos and I'm going to put it on this thing, this flash drive for my audience. They're all of Trey Llewellyn teaching how to do e-commerce because Trey Llewellyn makes like $400,000 a day selling flashlights. He's from Missouri and he's killing it, right? So he's got all these videos that were in the public domain on YouTube. And then he interviews Trey. He says, I'm going to make the hook even more compelling. And so he interviews Trey and Trey says, yeah, sure. You can interview me. And so they talk for a couple hours and Jason says to Trey, hey, I need to pay you. And Trey says, you don't need to pay me. It's all good. He said, no, I need to pay you. And so he wires him $5,000 and takes a picture of the wire. Okay. And so when he's doing his webinar, he says, not only that, you're going to get this. And I've got a flash drive that I'm going to send you and has Trey Llewellyn and he's the So he's pumping this up. Not only that, but I've got a personal training with Trey Llewellyn that I paid $5,000 for. And he took a snapshot. He had that snapshot of that wire transfer for $5,000. So what happens to perceived value when you do that? It goes up. So what is everybody thinking? Oh my gosh, I want that training. I want that flash drive. So it'd be crazy not to do it, right? Whatever he's selling, I gotta have that. If in fact you were the avatar. Isn't that nuts? So you can do things like this. I hope this is getting your wheels turning. You see how these things kind of weave together and intermingle, and they're very, very similar. They are different, but they certainly hold each other's hands, and it's super easy to do. Number 17, host a weekend event. This is probably one of the best things you could possibly do, is host a weekend event. And there was a reason why I had cameras up, right? And the reason why is, hey, I have a lot of things that I can use for content, and I can repurpose it. I can re-niche it. I have the video. I'm going to send it all over to rev.com. It's going to be all transcribed. I'm going to have the audio ripped off. Now I have all the audio. Now I've got a video training, a transcription. Now I've got a book. I've got an audio book, right? So I've already got my products. All I had to do was give my talk. That's it. And now I can repurpose it. I can make newsletters out of that. I can make whatever. And so here's what we've done is start with the back end first. Do that live event, which you're already doing, your advanced workshop, record it, and you can make all these things from that. And then you just add to it. Hey, now I went out to get all these podcasts, and then I went to YouTube and got all these things. And you're just putting that stuff together. And it's so powerful that the person would be crazy to say no. But that's why we recorded it. Isn't that awesome? Now that you think about it like that, you think, gosh, that's too easy. It is too easy. You could do it too, right? Software. Software is an incredible thing. The perceived value for software through the roof. You say, I don't know how to create software. You don't have to. Go to PLR, whatever software, or PLR, an app, a fitness app. Hey, you want people to start tracking things. You can license software. Somebody's already created it for you. So go out there. You can even go to ClickBank, find software. Hey, I'd like to license this from you. I want that app, and I want to give it to my people, right? So they can download it in your office. You put your name, your branding. Now it's proprietary. So not only are you going to get this, you're going to get this, you're going to get this flash drive, and now you're going to get this. I'm going to give you a link to an app that you can download onto your phone to track all your progress in the office. Boom. And their perceived value just skyrocketing, right? You can recycle content with a new hook. So the book, this is one of Russell's evil secrets. He had a training that he was selling, kind of repurposing, and the training is called The Perfect Webinar. And it's literally him going through with Camtasia, which we talked about a few products ago. He uses Camtasia and has a sheet of paper and walks through a flow chart on how to give the perfect webinar, the perfect talk. Okay, so he's walking through it and showing you how to do it, and then he sells it and repurposes it, sells it, and he's making thousands of millions. He said he's made millions and millions off that talk. And he says, you know, I'll give you a dirty little secret. This Expert Secrets is the perfect webinar. It is. That's all this is. It's the perfect webinar. I mean, he lines it out item by item and dives deep, but that's all this is. And if you want to give the best talk ever, right, get this book. You got to get this book, right? You want to know how to close a room, which I even made an ad recently with this picture. Hey, here's how I close the room, or got these people to say, shut up and take my money, right? So I repurposed that picture. And I'm using an outline from him, which is Perfect Webinar, and from this book. I want you to do the same thing because I want you to be successful too. That's why I'm saying, get that book, get that book, get that book. You can repurpose or recycle other people's content. So somebody else wrote a book and you can recycle it. So there's this book from Jay Abraham. Jay Abraham's a famous marketer, and he's been around for decades, and he's kind of all over the place. So one of his best people, buying all his front-end products from a few $100s up to $50,000 training, and the guy spent over a couple $1 million buying training from Jay Abraham. And he says, hey, Jay, and they're friends at this point. He says, Jay, your stuff's all over the place. It needs to be condensed and chronological order. And so this guy goes back through every training, every video, taking notes, doing all this stuff, puts it all in chronological order, puts it together, makes a book, and starts selling it. And he's making tons of money. Jay finds out, say, hey, that's mine. And they're going back and forth in a tiff. And Jay gets the book back. He gets the rights. And he says, I won't use your name, so I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it Money Making Secrets of Marketing Genius Jay Abraham and Other Marketing Wizards. That's kind of the subtitle, but it's called the Mr. X book. And so there's a great hook, Mr. X. What is that? And so he has this book. It's no longer in print, but Russell remembers it and calls up Jay because they're buddies as well. Jay, what's going on with that book? He says, well, it's not in print. What do you want? Russell pays thousands and thousands of dollars to get licensing rights to that book. He sent me a copy, but he's going to repurpose it. He's going to recycle it. So he's going to take this book, take all the things out of the book, and make video trainings. And he's going to have audio books from this and audio files and a podcast and newsletter, all this stuff. He's going to take this and just recycle it. Are you getting this? You don't even have to come up with the idea. The idea was already there. So Jay Abraham spent his life coming up with a training that marketing people would pay 50 grand for. Russell says, yeah, that seems like a lot of work. I'd rather just give you some money and just give me the book. And that's what he did. Is that not amazing? We can do the same thing. We can literally do the exact same thing. There are all kinds of amazing books when it comes to health, fitness. Frankly, it's flooded. Go get the licensing right and then recycle the thing, right? Probably one of the best things you could possibly do is create a membership site. And a membership site, the perceived value for a membership site is through the roof. And really, the reason this is so great is because this is where you can dump all of your content, your videos, your audio trainings, your all the writings, so you can put it in a PDF format. People can download it, right? Which is exactly what you guys get to do. But having a membership site, high perceived value, low maintenance, low cost, and you can put all your stuff in there, and you can put as much or as little stuff in there as possible. And I can talk to you about that. But this is one of the best things you could possibly do. So now it's a library for your VIP to go get whatever. And now they're paying you like a continuity program, $37 a month. I'm always adding to it, is what you'll tell them. I'm always adding to it, and you always have access, and they're going to pay you. And something that's $37 or $27 a month, 17, doesn't matter, whatever the number is, it's a low number, and they may not even realize it's coming out of their bank account, and they're just paying you, right? Whether they go to the site or not is really irrelevant, but they're just paying you. And this is a way to make that income. I mean, it's stuff you've already created, so you should get paid for it. You should get compensated time and time and time and time again, right? So there's number 21. I tried to go through that as fast as possible. There's some things that I left out because I wanted to run through this, and it's been an hour, but I don't want to take a ton of time. But if we have questions, ask in the Facebook group. The biggest thing I can tell you, start with the back end first. Start with the back end first. Start with the back end first, meaning do this, the event, whether it's a weekend event, a day long, some kind of intensive. You've got to do an event, and you got to have a camera on you. You should have this all the time, and you should be recording yourself all the time, and you should be recording conversations all the time, because who are the people you're probably going to be talking to? Other like-minded individuals, right? Record that stuff, or go find them. If the people you're talking to aren't people that your avatar want to hear from, start talking to your avatar's people and start recording them in every way possible. And now you're creating just immense content, and you're not doing any more work. I don't want you to do any more work. Work sounds awful. Hard work, gross. I don't want to work harder. I want to work more efficiently. I want to create an insane amount of value in production with less energy. And I want you to be able to do the same thing. So now that I have sped through that as fast as possible, any questions? I'll wait just a moment. Or hopefully your mind's racing. If I was effective, your mind will be racing. And if you got anything out of this, put hashtag got ideas, hashtag got ideas. Love to hear from you. If you got some ideas from that, are you going to use all of them all at once? Not necessarily, but you can use what you want to use. Hashtag got ideas. or any questions. If no questions, hashtag awesome. Hashtag awesome, meaning we'll be done for the day. I certainly hope that this got you excited, got the wheels turning. Hey, there's several ways to get content, and it's not work. You're already doing the event. You're already doing the advanced workshop. Look how many ways you can repurpose, re-niche, use it in different ways. You can tweak and turn it. So you can do this all day long with all your things, right? Okay. Thank you. But if no questions, hashtag awesome, and we're going to be done for the day. Hopefully you can still hear me as well. So thank you for being on. I certainly appreciate everybody. I'm going to post this in the Facebook group and the membership area really soon. Our next training is going to be coming up soon. I want you to be able to take a breather between this one and all the ones we've been doing. We've started to race a little bit, and I want you to be able to take a breath and maybe go watch a video again, take some notes, come up with some ideas, and I look forward to seeing you on the next training.